spending money.
Yes.
I mean, look at Man U. We'll get to Man U. Man U has had some of the best players in the world, and it's more.
Yes.
Man U is more like a graveyard for some of the best players. If you look at
Yeah.
Sanchez, a player like Sanchez flopped at Manchester United. Cristiano
Yes.
Ronaldo the other day flopped at Manchester United. Falcao, Di Maria, the list is Pogba.
We really don't have a striker that can join any top 7 team in the Premier League. Tell me,
100%.
out of all the first 7 teams, which striker can Ketia replace any of those teams? Top 7. When you go to Liverpool, when you go to Tottenham, when you go to Brighton, when you go to all the teams, like Nketiah, who is he going to replace? He's just not good enough. He's just not good enough. And the Chelsea story is a comedy of errors, because I think the Africans in the village right now think that somebody might have put some juju in Stamford Bridge, because spending close to £1 billion, we dodged a bullet in Mudryk.
Reckless talk. Son of a Gustin. Hey, reckless talk. But I got expensive habits. Don't step in salt.
All right, so morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, Don from Kenya Gunners TV, and today I'm joined with a fellow Gunner, Kwame, man. Kwame, how are you, Bana?
I'm very good, very good. It's the first time I'm on your channel. Very excited to represent Arsenal. I'm a diehard Arsenal fan, and looking forward to the conversations regarding our team.
Man. Welcome, Karibu Sana. So as I actually told you off camera, basically here to do a weekend recap. As you all are aware, we had quite an eventful weekend. There was the North London derby. It happened the way it happened. So basically here to discuss about that. But at the same time, also just here to just do a quick weekend recap over, what happened over the weekend. As you all are aware, Man City is still the team to be unbeaten. There's Liverpool, which is picking up form. There's Chelsea, Chelsea's still struggling. Then there's Newcastle, actually, that gave Sheffield a thorough beating, an 8-0 thorough beating. We're basically just here to talk about that. But anyway, without any further ado, let's now get to one of the most exciting games for the weekend, the North London derby. So as you all aware, not really the way we wanted it. We drew with the Spurs 2-2. It was quite for me. It feels more like a loss, because it's been very long since these guys actually gave us a run for our money. But I must say, it's actually weird me saying this, but I must congratulate Spurs. They actually played very well, and even if you look at the style of play, they've definitely improved, and that's quite commendable. It looks like what the new coach is doing is really brought the team up to speed. So anyway, Kwame, what do you make of it?
I don't know where to start, but first of all, I'd like to speak of Arsenal fans, including myself. I think us delaying the North London derby recap was a good thing, because on the day, there are very strong emotions from the Arsenal fans.
For sure.
Coming back from the days of Mustafi, Kolasinac, and all those other players, like I think most of our Wenger players are all gone, right? And I think sometimes success begets a lot of criticism from fans, because they play Football Manager and they think, oh, Arsenal did very well, but because people didn't have high expectations of Arsenal or the methodology of Mikel Arteta, and so I think we are panicking too much. I think the injuries we've had during preseason and towards the beginning of the season sort of like has forced Arteta to react quickly to find that can play. So I thought I should start with that, so that we can be objective. You cannot use 5 games and say Arsenal is doomed. The reason we are scared is because Man City has such high standards. If you leave a gap of even 5 points, catching up is very difficult. But Man City Team B can match Arsenal's play, and they've built that over time, and they've used a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the Arsenal model is a sober model. Like we've used our finances correctly. Just like I'd say, I'd compare us to Brighton. The only difference is our scouting team has not done very well in terms of getting strikers. So I think in as far as the solidity at the midfield, before we only had Partey, now we have Rice, and we have seen when Rice left, we almost capitulated. You see, and
absolutely.
So there are many things to look forward for in terms of control. Tottenham looked dangerous every time they went forward because of Sonny, but I think our next phase of development is in the striking department, because to be honest, I love Nketiah, but Nketiah is bang average.
Yeah, he is. I mean, like, I think I've even said this. If you look at some of the videos that I've done, he doesn't have that striker's IQ. As a striker, you're supposed to be able to study your opponent. You're supposed to be able to know exactly where to place the ball. Like, even if you look at the goal that he nearly scored, he just shot it straight to the goalkeeper. As a striker, you're supposed to be able. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. And if you look at that frame, the points you're describing in Nketiah before shooting on his left side, I think, I can't remember which player, but the player raised his hands and he was open.
He was so open, yeah.
Because I think Nketiah was feeling the pressure so much, and because we are on his back so much that he's feeling the pressure to score a goal. But I don't doubt his character. I don't doubt his loyalty to the club. I just think he's not good enough. Just like Leno was not good enough. He was good enough for a mid-table team or top 6 team, but Arsenal is playing to win the Premier League. And so we have to, for us to be like Man City. Man City, there's nobody who can say that they have nailed down a spot. You either play at top level, if not, you're replaced. And that's the championship, the champion mentality. And that's what people need to start accepting, because towards the tail end of last season, people figured us out. And then, we bottled very simple games. Southampton.
Imagine.
And they're relegated, right?
Yeah, they're relegated. Yeah.
And they beat us. Like, we just dropped points. We didn't have the mental, strength to work under pressure. And I think the next phase of our development, midfield maybe a little bit, but mainly the attack. When you remove Gabriel Jesus, we really don't have a striker that can join any top 7 team in the Premier League. Tell me, 100%. Out of all the first 7 teams, which striker can Nketiah replace any of those teams? Top 7. When you go to Liverpool, when you go to Tottenham, when you go to Brighton, when you go to all the teams, Chelsea, like Nketiah, who is he going to replace? He's just not good enough. He's just not good enough. And the best form of defense is attack. You see, But when we waste so many chances, then nobody fears us. It's like a boxing ring. If you're punched by your opponent and you don't feel pain, then you keep moving forward. And that's what Arsenal is. And Jesus is really more like a playmaker. He draws defenders towards him. So he's not really the perfect finisher we want. He scores some goals, but he's not like a above 20 goal scorer. You see,
100%.
But you see, I can't blame him, because that's not his style. You see, But we need a finisher, and I think Arsenal is in the right track, because all the bad, or let me say that they were not bad people, but they were not good enough for Arsenal. They were all replaced. So in the next phase of development, we need strikers. And the problem we've had is that when you look at Brighton, every player they have sold, they have returned 10 times the profit.
That's the most interesting thing. Let me just say that's one of the most interesting things, because everybody thought that when these guys lost Caicedo, these guys had some very, very good players last season.
Yes.
And it just shows you, but that the team is like what Dizabi is doing. Not only Dizabi, what the club is basically doing right now. They're more like in an upward kind of trajectory. Because if you look at Brighton's style of play, and the players are getting, these guys get players that you completely don't even know. But then now put them on the pitch, they're really performing and doing very well. Yeah. So I think that's one thing that probably maybe Arsenal needs to do. And now talking about now the attack B part of it, I feel like the January window, there's a chance of getting Ivan Toney, because chances are by there Brentford is actually selling him. So I think that's a striker to actually, Brentford is actually selling him. So I think January should be a window. Now we need to probably get a replacement for Nketiah. Like even if you look at the Spurs game, I think one of the mistakes, tactically speaking, I feel like probably Nketiah would have been brought off. He would have been brought off early. Like you see, him bringing in Jesus didn't make sense to me. What would have probably done? He would have probably maybe.
And he was on a yellow, remember?
Yeah, he was on a yellow. So probably what he would have done, he would have brought Jesus by in the number 9 position, and then now getting Nketiah off and put Trisnes on the wing. That wing, because Jesus on that wing, on the left wing, was not really operating, but he was not really, he really didn't turn up as expected. And that's, I really miss Trossard. If not Martinelli.
Trossard is our most clinical. That was the next question I was supposed to ask you. In our team, who is the most clinical finisher that we have?
Of course, Trossard.
Only Trossard. The others, they score, they contribute, but they are not clinical. Saka is getting there, but he's still growing in his development. So I guess that's the only part about Arsenal's development that needs a lot of growth. But when I looked at the team objectively, especially for the first 45 minutes, Tottenham were under the cosh. Like they were not breathing. If you watch that game, like the first 45 minutes, the press, and then we stole the ball from them a few times. If it was Brighton, those would have been goals. If it was Patterson or Maitoma, those would have been goals. So we are very wasteful. And the problem is, once the initiative is taken, when a goal comes in, then it changes the energy of the team. You cannot press for 90 minutes, even though you've trained the whole week. You cannot press. You're playing a game every 3 days. There's no way you can play with that intensity. And how you do it is kill off, just like Man City. They press, goal. Press, goal. That's what Arsenal lacks.
100%. So anyway, I had some fans actually saying that because I was actually watching one of the biggest platforms, but one of the biggest Arsenal fan TV, AFTV. And actually somebody said that Arteta basically, I think guys are panicking. But the question is, he basically said that Arteta needs to focus more on the Champions League than the Premier League. Does that make sense to you?
If you don't qualify for the Champions League, you're out. The Premier League is the priority.
It's the priority right now. And you remember last season, we came this close. We capitulated towards the end of it. And, I'm sure, like, right now, the expectations are very, very high. So, like, this season, I don't know. What are expectations this season?
I believe in Arteta. I'll tell you why. The game of football is a marathon, right? We have Carabao, we have Champions League, we have Premier League games. There's so many games to play. There'll be injuries. Arsenal is not the only team that is going to lose players. As we speak, I think Rodri for Man City was on a red. De Bruyne is hurt. He's not going to be around for a few months. So
probably
injuries
till January.
Yes.
Injuries are part of football.
Yeah. So, and when I look at Tottenham, for example, when you remove Sonny out of the equation, they don't have squad depth.
Exactly.
They don't have Harry Kane. So when Sonny gets hurt, they are gone. So for me, I don't want to panic. I was panicking. If we had this conversation on the same day the football game was there, maybe my comments will have been a bit
different.
Because of the emotions of the day. But having rested and thought about it critically, I
Yeah.
think we are panicking. And the reason Arteta is putting some people off is because there's something in modern football now that is called load management. What does that mean? Load management simply refers to how you control the time players play on the field to prevent injuries. You see,
Yeah,
we know very
100%.
well Partey gets injured very quickly. Martinelli is also, injury prone. So when the medical team assess the players, they are
Yeah.
able to know how many minutes each player can play. If you've noticed, Saka plays so many minutes, but he doesn't get injured. But that's because the
Yeah.
medical team know he's durable. But
Yeah.
Trossard cannot play 90 minutes, 3 games consecutively because his body is a bit small.
Yeah.
If he's bullied by the defenders, he will not survive, you see.
Yeah.
So I think that's something Arsenal is learning to rotate the squad, because before last season, we had a very good first 11 and not so good second 11, because when we went to the Europa League, you could sense that one team is so much weaker than the first team. But right now, with the mix of players we have, excluding the striker role, I think we have the second best squad depth in the league, I think. Right? We don't have Partey, we have Rice, you see?
Yeah. And come to think of it, actually, because I was among the guys, like you said, during the game, after the game, you get quite emotional. And looking at it, the sub that not even the sub, you notice that Declan Rice came off. That is the second half, and he brought in Jorginho.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then later on, we came to realize that the guy had a slight injury and he couldn't continue. So now, actually, good news to you, just what you're saying. Good news to not only to all Arsenal fans. Martinelli, Trossard, and
I saw that news. Yes.
yeah, and Declan Rice. They'll all be available for the Man City game. So that now brings us back to what you're saying. The squad rotation and know being able to know exactly. Yeah. No, I agree 100%. So like it's a marathon. It's still early days. Arsenal fans, calm down. Still early days.
I agree, me included. I think we are one of the most fickle fans in the world. I think we react too quickly, and I think we have been spoiled by past success. But I think we need to support, because the energy we transmit to our team will determine how they play. Like I think this German guy, the one we bought, the 65 million player,
Kai Havertz.
I think we are so hard on him. Most people need a whole season to adapt, and we are putting so much pressure on him because of the price tag. I think what we need to do is criticize positively, because part of our role as the team, as the fans, is to is to push them to greatness by criticizing positively. But we should also encourage them, because they have not lost any game.
Yeah,
they have not so far.
It's true. Of course, during a game you get emotional. And even me, I can say even me, I'm among those guys actually are very, very critical with Kai Havertz. But then looking at the way the guy played the Spurs game, actually very, very well. I was actually quite impressed with him. In the PSV game. So I mean, that's a player that if you definitely look at Kai Havertz, there's definitely most definitely a player in Kai Havertz. If you remember the days he was at Bayer Leverkusen. Used to, I'll ask, let me know. You guys go check it out, but in the comment section, you guys go check it out. Look at Kai Havertz when he was at Bayer Leverkusen and compare the Kai Havertz we have right now. So there's definitely a play in him. I think when he moved from Bayer Leverkusen to Chelsea, his confidence somehow dropped.
Yeah. And then he was being used in the wrong way.
Exactly.
There was no clear strategy. He was not comfortable. In fact, a lot of players, Kevin De Bruyne used to be a Chelsea player, right? De Bruyne. He never succeeded at Chelsea. So Chelsea has a habit of ruining young players because they don't give them a chance to excel. And so
even Mo Salah.
And Mo Salah, yes, they keep firing. They keep firing their managers, and so the stability there is not good. And so right now they are trying to copy Arsenal by getting a young squad, because most of the players were old, and so they needed to rebuild a new squad, and it takes time. Even though you spend they spent over almost £1 billion, if not more, and they still need time to adapt. You see, right now they are struggling, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Money does not win matches. You have to build chemistry within the team. So I
100%.
think, so I think we just need to be patient with Arteta. Granted, I think our injury record is still not where it's supposed to be. And they really need to steal somebody from Brighton in terms of their scouting network for strikers or players. I think Brighton is the team to watch in terms of how they manage their team. Because remember, Brighton lost their coach, lost the whole technical team. And they are better because Brighton has a system. So what happens? The system they have, if you are a coach, you fit into the system. Not every coach comes with a new system. So you have to come in, you have to work with unknown players, you have to know how to develop players, and you have to adapt to their system. And even De Zerbi admitted that he had his own players in mind, but in terms of the scouting network and the algorithm they use to spot players, he said, like, even he respects the Brighton model, because the players they have suggested have ended up being superstars. And so I think we need to borrow a leaf so much. I know I've been off camera, I've told you a lot about Brighton, but I've read a lot about them and the way they run the club. After Alonso's team, is it Leipzig? I think one of the best run football clubs in the world is Brighton, in terms of money, not how much they spend, but how they use their money. And invested. So they invest in the squad, then they buy new players and sell like that. So, and I think Arsenal has also learned, because right now we have the average youngest squad in the league. That means if we were to sell Saka now, Saka's value is £100 million. Right. So and if you remember, Pepe has gone for nothing. So all the players that were there that were not Mikel Arteta's responsibility, they all went for nothing. But right now, when you look at Martinelli, when you look at Trossard, when you look at Tomiyasu, when you look at Saliba, none of our players is less than £50 million in terms of the players Arteta brought in. They are all high value because there are no defenders in the world. If you're going to buy Saliba, not less than £100 million.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think we need to be patient with our squad. The reason we are surviving up to now is because the owners are very good managers of clubs. They don't throw around money. It doesn't mean spending a lot of money means you are running the club very well. So I still believe in Arteta. He's human. When Man City loses games, because they have been successful, everybody's like, Pep will find a way. Pep will find a way. So I think we are judged harshly because we are Arsenal, but I don't see any cause for alarm. I just think Arteta is going to surprise us. The thing that we'll need to do is to survive and make sure that Trossard, Martinelli, Saka, and Odegaard. Odegaard had a very bad game, by the way. But those people can do the goals up to January. But as at now, let's not kid ourselves. Nketiah is not going to do anything much. He's not good enough.
Yeah. Anyway, enough with Arsenal. Now let's move on, because I actually mentioned this is a quick weekend recap. So over the weekend, you actually had some interesting games. And let me just highlight this here. I actually sent you this. You can also check it out as you speak. Check out your phone as you speak. So the Man City game, it was so interesting. They played versus Nottingham Forest. Just like you said, this is a machine to actually chase down. You can't afford to give these guys a chance by the to give you guys a 6-point gap. Because look at it. It was so interesting in the sense, I watched the game partly. It was so interesting in the sense that these guys were 10 man down.
To Arsenal, when we played the Fulham game, they got a red card. We had the opportunity to take the game by the scruff of the neck, but because of our poor finishing, we gave Fulham a lot of hope. The same hope we gave Tottenham by wasting chances in the first 45 minutes. And they
we didn't bury the game.
Because you remember before when we used to have weak defenses, everybody used to bully us. Now we can't be bullied. Right?
Yeah, our defense is quite solid right now.
So now we need to have that fear factor that Thierry Henry used to have, Will Todd, Ian Wright. We need a striker that is scary, so that now, because I think I feel sorry for Ramsdale, because our playing system favors Raya. You see, So
definitely.
what happens is, you've noticed most of our goals come from the Saka side, and I feel like we are straining that young kid. Like, we depend on him so much to save us all the time. But ideally, if we had a striker, then would give defenses a nightmare, because they don't know whether to mark Saka or to mark the striker. But they don't fear Nketiah, because Nketiah is hopeless. You know, he doesn't know how to score. He's just a squad player. He works hard, he runs, he presses, but he doesn't finish. And I think that's where the problem is.
Exactly. Now, speaking of the fear factor, big part of it, you do realize that, right now, Man City is a team that everybody's emulating to be at. So, like, you see, I feel like these guys have mastered that art of, just bullying people around. It's just like they play mind games with people. Yeah. So I feel like most teams, especially these small teams, when they meet Man City, they tend to capitulate and, get scared that, this is the big machine to chase down. I mean, it was so interesting. Rodri actually had a yellow, had a second, he was given a red card, the 60th minute. Imagine that duration, these guys, Nottingham Forest couldn't get the ball back in the net. So it's really, really interesting. So Man City, actually, they beat Nottingham Forest 2-0. They will now move to Chelsea. So these guys have actually spent $1 billion, but they were beaten by Aston Villa 1-0. I didn't watch the game. Was the game at Stamford Bridge? Where was the game played? Was it Stamford Bridge? I think it was Stamford Bridge.
It's the Chelsea story is a comedy of errors, because I think the Africans in the village right now think that somebody might have put some juju in Stamford Bridge, because spending close to £1 billion, we dodged a bullet. We dodged a bullet in Mudryk, and those were all hot players. The same players. If they went to Brighton, I think it would have been different. But I think the culture in Chelsea has been bad. They have been buying success, but it is not sustainable. What you need to do is build chemistry. You see?
Exactly.
If you bring a whole bunch of superstars, the chemistry in the squad is affected. You need to build people from the academy and mix them with a few superstars and build a team. So right now, Chelsea is not a team, but I believe that I'm not sure whether Pochettino is the right coach, but I feel like we need to give him time, because I don't know which manager can manage a team that they almost did a complete overhaul of the first 11, like a whole complete overhaul. I think when you change so much, they changed too much too soon.
Yeah, I actually think Poch is a good coach, and given time, he'll definitely transform that team. But people forget that football is a corporation. That it requires all the departments but they to function well for players to flourish. And if you look at the template Chelsea is using right now, that's the same template that probably Manchester United has been using for over the years. Spending money. I mean, look at Man U. We'll get to Man U. Man U has had some of the best players in the world, and it's more. Man U is more like a graveyard for some of the best players. If you look at Sanchez, a player like Sanchez flopped at Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo the other day flopped at Manchester. Falcao, Di Maria, the list is Pogba. So the list is endless. So that just proves one thing. As much as money is good, and I think I've been saying this over and over and over and over again, money is good, yes, but money doesn't bring you chemistry in the team. And that is what that is the template that Chelsea's that's the trajectory that Chelsea has been. I mean, look at Caicedo, one of the most expensive players.
Can you explain why he's not performing?
Why?
Mudryk was performing for the Brighton coach in Shakhtar Donetsk. But right now, he seems average. He has a lot of speed. He looks good on YouTube.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he's not performing. But I want to throw a spanner into the works. I feel like, to some extent, Chelsea are facing the same problem as Arsenal. It's just that they are at a different stage in their development in terms of striking. You remember the guy who came from PSG, the one they bought, the one who was scoring goals and then got hurt. What's his name? I'm trying to remember his name. The guy, the striker, the one who was supposed to support Jackson.
Anyway,
he got
when I'll put it up when I'll do my research, then put it up on the video when I'm editing.
Yeah. So he's a big loss to them, because even in preseason, he's the one who was scoring all the goals. If I was watching the Chelsea preseason, they looked dangerous. But
They
now,
did.
just like us, when we lost Timber before the season starts, they lost their key striker. So football, that's why when I hear people complaining about Arsenal, I'll just keep quiet, because I know it's a marathon. All these teams playing all those games, Sonny will get injured at some point or get tired.
Maddison will get injured.
And then this new coach of Tottenham, he's a new entity. People don't know the style. So he'll get figured out. After a few games, he'll get figured out. Then you're going to see them drop points. Huh?
Let me facts 100% what you're saying. I mean, look at last season. Last season, man, we were trained on a move. The whole season, man, we were playing some good football. But then now towards the end of it, what happened? We were figured out. And then we're just in one injury away. Saliba just had to get injured. And that's how, by the way, we capitulated and our lost for and our hopes for actually winning the Premier League. So you're actually right, man.
And remember,
and
most of the season, remember, we played without Gabriel Jesus. Now we have Gabriel Jesus. So if we played that whole time without a real striker, and I think what Arteta has been working on, and I think the team, his technical team, knew that we were too predictable in our football. Right now, he can change the squad. You don't know exactly how he's going to structure the team. So I think right now, they didn't. Arsenal, I'd say, if I was to give them a percentage in terms of how well they've started, I think 65%. So if at 65%, we have not lost a game. Once the team finds its feet and the injuries reduce, I think we are going to move. The only thing that I'm scared of is Man City, because right now they've started how Arsenal started. Like they are moving at such a pace that we might not catch them. But in terms of all the other teams, I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried about them.
For sure. I agree 100%. That's the only challenge we now have, being at par with Man City. Because tell me, is there anybody who's ever chased down Pep and succeeded over the years? That guy, I'm telling you, once Pep is here, there is no way you'll catch up with. That's why and I think we're actually meeting these guys on. I think after the Bournemouth game, we're meeting Man City after the Bournemouth game. So that is actually going to really determine a lot. That is definitely going to determine a lot.
Yeah. But I think they might just win us 2-1 because striking.
Yeah, striking. But look at it from this sense.
But if we have Trossard and Gabriel and Gabriel Jesus, we have a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
But if those two are not there, then we are done.
Yeah, most definitely. Anyway, now going to Manchester United. They actually beat Burnley 1-0. I'm already seeing you smiling. What is it?
Man,
what's wrong with this club?
At your rivals, but hey, I don't envy that coach.
Yeah,
there's just too much happening behind the scenes. Like, there's so much instability. I respect him. He's old school in terms of his tactics, disciplinarian, and everything. But you've seen what has happened with Sancho. Arguing with the coach, and then because they are also run a bit like Chelsea, because they have not started, very strongly, and so people are complaining. But I just think Manchester United and Arsenal fans are fickle, because Manchester United, as average as they were last time, they didn't have a striker, and they were number 3. We are 5 games in, and we are already doubting this guy. I think I don't know. I think we are fickle, but I think there's a lot of instability right now. I think in Man United,
No,
that's why they're not performing, and there's pressure. But anyway, that's good for us as Arsenal fans. But I think once they find their groove, those are one of the teams I can never write off.
no, definitely. I feel like Ten Hag is actually a very good coach. He's just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah, because I bet you, any coach right now, by the way, the instabilities, like you said, the instabilities, and they basically the club is managed. And we've seen these things. We've had guys talk about this. Ronaldo came out by the other day, did an interview, talked about what's going on in the club. And look at the level of indiscipline with players. Look at if you look at Anthony now has a case. He has a criminal case that is now, we knew the other day, man, it was shown the door because of a criminal case. So, the way the club is being managed right now, I bet you, I don't think any coach but will succeed at Manchester United right now.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and then they were unable to invest as well because they were supposed to change ownership, and then now the Glazers just raised the price last minute.
Yeah.
So there's also that bit.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that the Glazers, those are clearly, I don't know them, but clearly from the perception that we have outside here is that they clearly don't have any interest with the club. It's just more like a commercial club. So how do you expect by the good coach to succeed in such a scenario? It's just like having some of the best employees and then bringing him in this disorganized corporation,
toxic environment.
Toxic environment. There's no way but he's going to succeed. So I think that's the situation Ten Hag is caught up in. But anyway, it's a bittersweet moment. As Arsenal fans, we've been there, we've seen it all. So yeah. Anyway, then now let's move to the last game. No, the last two games. Liverpool. So Liverpool actually beat West Ham 3-1. I don't know if you managed to watch the game as well.
I watched the highlights.
Yeah.
I watched the highlights, and I think let's not sleep on those guys. They might surprise. They might surprise a lot of people because Klopp has the closest person to challenge Pep is Klopp.
Yeah.
And I think the striker Darwin Núñez.
Yeah.
Most of the strikers in the Premier League need a season of adaptation, and I think this is the time we are going to see the best of Darwin Núñez.
Oh, most definitely.
Because Liverpool have also been in a period of transition, losing Mane and a few key players.
Exactly.
So I think let's not sleep on Liverpool. They might surprise a few people.
Oh yeah, for sure. Anyway, the last game, one of the most interesting games was Sheffield versus Newcastle. I'm telling you, these guys were given an 8-0 thorough beating. 8-0. It reminded me of like when Manu was given a 7-0 beaten by Liverpool. But anyway, Sheffield United, these are the teams that, now coming back to Arsenal, these are the teams that if you meet, you really need to capitalize on that, because I'm telling you, second of goal difference
becomes a factor.
It becomes a factor. Those are factors that probably might even determine which team wins the Premier League. So they're given an 8-0 thorough whipping. And fun enough, they're at home. It is what it is. It's part of football. Yeah, so I think that's it. That's it for the weekend recap. So let me just I'll put this up on the screen as well. So let me just highlight the top 7 teams right now. We now have Man City at number 1 with 18 points. Then you have Liverpool. Number 2, 16 points. We have Brighton, 15 points. Number 3. Then you have Spurs with 14 points. We have Arsenal at number 5 with 14 points. So we are tied. We're tied with Spurs. The only thing that is probably maybe seeing them above us is the goal difference. There's a goal difference of 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then you have Aston Villa with 12 points. Then you have West Ham with 10 points. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's our weekend recap. Let us know what you think in the comment section. I don't know if you have any words that you want to, any question you want to ask the fans in the comment section.
I just want to tell the fans, mine is more of a, what do you call it, like a comment that Arsenal fans, we need to get behind the team. We affect, you know, we have the youngest average age in our squad in the league. And these kids, they are kids, literally kids. They are all, you know, averaging 21, 22. So
they're now growing into men.
To become men. And so when we are too hard on them, we affect their confidence and we spoil the chemistry in the team, and they start having too much pressure. So I think we need to get behind the team, trust in the process. We never used to have, during the Mustafi time, you know, we had bad defenders. Now we have proper defenders. Now we have also squad depth. So that means if Saliba gets injured, we have Tomiyasu. If Gabriel gets injured, we have Kiwior. You see, we've tried our best to build a squad depth. Save for message Timber, who got injured. That was bad luck.
Unfortunately,
so I think let's trust the process. At least, even from last season, we succeeded not by having one striker, but spreading the goals. So I think just because we introduce new systems, that's why the team is still trying to understand the processes that Teta is trying to implement to make sure that Arsenal is unpredictable. So having sat out since the last game, I think without the emotion, we need to get behind the team. 2-2 was a fair result. Remember, just as we are training hard and teams are plotting, so is Tottenham, so is Brighton. So nowadays, most teams are professional. Most teams have, you know, excellent coaches, and so you know, let's give Arteta, you know, his flowers for bringing us to this point. For the longest time, I mean, this is the first time we've been in the Champions League for 7 years, and immediately we're there, we are complaining like little children. So but you know, if I asked any fan to go and do the job Arteta is doing with the resources that we have,
it's going to be a different conversation.
I think you know the answer to that. So let's get behind the team. I know we are at 65%, but the fact that we have performed the way we have with 65%, if we are 100%, I think we'll be dangerous. And hopefully if we sign Ivan Toney in January, I think we could be very close to Man City. So I'm still hopeful. It's still early days. Let's stop panicking.
Let's stop panicking. Come on, fans, relax. Anyway, Kwame, thank you for pulling up. I really do appreciate your time. It was one interesting conversation with you. So for the guys who are new here, just
thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome. I'm looking forward to actually even having you more. So for the guys who are new here, just ensure you smash the subscribe button, like the channel as well. Really, really helps the channel. And that's it. Kwame, I'll be seeing you on the next one.
On to the next one, bro. Cheers.
Come on, you Guna.